Afternoon all, how are we doing? Afternoon David, Diamond. Crossing fingers in hopes the NAS is turning bullish. Why is that? You're looking for a double bottom? We will see. What happened this morning? So pretty good morning this morning on the DAX. Banked quite a few percentages. Had one last trade I took, which didn't work out. I was looking for a long on it, but didn't get it. But overall, pretty good morning so far. I've got the was a good morning until I got stuffed out of the Euro Swiss. The US dollar Swiss. So I stopped out of that one this morning. I can't stop this US dollar at the minute. It's absolutely screaming. So can't find a way to get in to get into a reversal on it. Massively extended still. 100 ADR, 125 ADR. Not stopping. So I'm out of that. Not shorting. Afternoon back. Euro pound I'm in short. I've got took a position on that one. We looked at this one this morning, so I took that initial position. I had the pending order after the reversal alert when we broke the Asian lows, so I got gathered into that one. We pushed down, pulled back and accumulated at this area, put another entry in, at that area there, put another entry in as we broke that gap, and that's pushing down very nicely. So got two positions short on Euro Pound at the minute. And New Zealand Dollar Yen, I'm still long on that, not gone anywhere. So London has just basically accumulated. So that's all I've got on at the moment. So pretty decent amount of ADRs today. Obviously the Aussies we looked at this morning. Euro CAD has hit to the downside. The Euro's not having a good day. Canadian dollar's doing well. Pound, so if we look at the Euro Pound, obviously that's come down dramatically as well. All these euros are down today. Euro US, because obviously we've got a strong US dollar. But the pound's not had against the CAD, it's not doing particularly well. CAD's strong at the minute. But the pound's not had a bad day overall. It's holding up down at the lows. So we're actually not making a new low on the pound in the London session for a change. So a bit of strength coming through there. Euro US dollars obviously hit the lows, and US dollar Swiss and US dollar yen just not stopping. I can't try to short these US dollars anymore. They're just flying. So Gary, afternoon at work and boss here, so ducking in and out. Cool. Pretty decent morning on the DAX. So we had that V-shaped move this morning. I was looking for a pullback up into this area, but we didn't get it. So not quite sure which way we're going to go on these today. Globex session for the US indices is sideways. We had that push up, pulled back, so we've not really gone anywhere on the US indices. With yesterday's movement, obviously massive sell-off on the Dow and all the indices. We've pushed up, we've done that retracement, so I'm not quite sure where we're going to go today. Difficult to tell where we're going with these. They're kind of all over the place. So just going to see what unfolds price action wise and try and do some scalping maybe on Boocamp. I just had to restart Boocamp, so I've got a little gap in my data. But there's a very obvious level on the S&P down at 4170 to 4173, where we've got an awful lot of buyers propping up these lows. So we'll see where we go at the open. If we have a strong, fast push down into this area, I'll probably try and long out of that. Otherwise, difficult to tell where we're going to go to the upside. There's not a lot really until we get up to the 4250 level, as you can see. So there's a lot of orders to the downside, and obviously the market is attracted to liquidity. There's a lot more liquidity south than there is north, so I've got a feeling we might be going down this afternoon, but difficult to tell at the moment with what's going on. So we will see. RSIs, the only things we've got extended are the euro US dollar to the downside, which I'm not looking to long the euro. The pound US dollar, which I'm not looking to long the pound. This is extended to the downside. Obviously, we've been embedded on the 1 hour for virtually 3-4 day all week. Basically, we've been embedded. We're down. We're going down. We don't seem to be stopping. 125 on the euro pound. That's good. And US dollar Swiss extended to the upside. As I say, I've been trying to get short on this US dollar Swiss for all week. It's not interested, so I'm out. US dollar is long. And obviously indices are short, which they tend to do. They tend to do the opposite to the indices, to the US dollar. RSI is all the same as this morning on the 4 hour. Nothing much has moved, and everything is still extended. So I'm not going to bother going through all of these because I went through all these this morning. If you want to know what's going on with the FX pairs, watch this morning's replay. Not a lot different. Pound US dollar still massively extended to the downside. US dollar Swiss massively extended to the upside. We are going to be getting a pullback, but likely just a pullback rather than a reversal. So it's Wednesday today. We do quite often see midweek reversals. News-wise, we've got the Bank of Japan policy statement tomorrow morning at some point in the morning. And then we've got GDP tomorrow as well. So we've got two major catalysts which could affect the US dollar tomorrow. Not directly affecting the US dollar, but if they decide to change their monetary policy to such an extent that the market decides to actually pile into the yen or pile out of the yen, either or, depending on how they're positioned, that will stop money moving in the US dollar, which will give the other currencies a bit of time to breathe, and we might get some pullbacks tomorrow. So I think probably we are just going to push up and sort of accumulate up here with the US dollar and wait until tomorrow, and then maybe it's all going to sort of reverse back around tomorrow, in which case all of these RSI extensions are going to be good trades. Markets open. So let's see where we go at the open. A lot of buying volume. I'm trading micros this afternoon. Just after yesterday, obviously didn't have a great day yesterday on the futures. FX this morning, I've done $900 on the funded account. So that's going pretty well this morning. Whoa, what's that going? So I've had fairly decent morning on the FX side of things. Whoa. So goal today is not to lose $900 on futures, i.e. make money on futures. I've just got one trade running on the DAX at the moment on that. It's just a small position. As a short, I'm looking to short. I'm short on the DAX at the minute. Just because I think we didn't get up there. I would expect us to get up there in the Frankfurt session if we were going to get up there. So literally we're just holding this accumulation at the moment. I think we've got more potential downside on us after yesterday. We've had that big push up. I was looking for a push up, a push down and a push up. We've had the push up. We've done the whole lot in that session. So I'm looking potentially for shorts. But we will see. Afternoon, Doreen. So a lot of buying coming in at the minute. Run into a load of liquidity up there. Some big orders up there. But I think we're going to come down and potentially target this low. We've got some more orders building up at the highs as well. We've got crude this afternoon as well. Okay, decent buying coming in at the open. FTSE's coming down quite hard. Okay, going short one up there. Getting rejected off of these highs. So basically you notice I'm going in with 3 contracts on the micro today rather than going in with single full-size contracts. Still got bulls coming in at the minute. Really buying up these highs at the moment. Nasdaq's really flying. See, big strong move on the Nas. That's a hell of an opening range. Look at the size of that candle. That's not going to be easy to trade today. Selling one more. Oh, Putin, what are you talking about? The West has driven Ukraine towards a war with Russia. What are you talking about? I thought it wasn't a war. I thought it was a special operation, Putin. What are you talking about? That was the drivel. So now he's saying that Ukraine is declaring war on Russia. Bloke's always nut. Sorry, he is. If you send troops and tanks into people's countries and start shooting massive, great rockets at them, it's not a special operation, it's an invasion. And you can't turn around and say just because they're taking out some of your oil refineries, they've declared war on you. Anywho. All good for the markets. Every time Putin says something, we tend to get a dump. Okay, short one more. So buyers got scared off by that big block of orders up there. So we're heading down to 41.80 and then hopefully challenging 41.72. Putin invades and he blames the West. Yeah, I know, he's just mad, isn't he? It's like, it's all your fault I sent my tanks and troops into next door. It's like us blaming Scotland and then invading Japan. So, what? I'm in a DAX short. I think I just said that, didn't I? I'm in a DAX short. Just pushing down on the DAX at the minute, trying to make a new low. Got to take out this level and this level, and then we should be good for a drop. A lot of indecision across all the indexes at the minute, though. Apart from the Nasdaq's really flying still. Although we are starting to run out of steam at the top. Running into this accumulation where the seller stepped in. So there'll be some selling pressure up here. Whether or not they can hold that. Depends how many buyers are out there today. We just had Microsoft's figures and Google's figures released as well. I think Google was down and Microsoft was up. So it's a bit of a mixed bag for the Nasdaq from a stock performance perspective. Looking for some sellers to start to pop in now. That initial buying flurry, we had all that initial, lot of big movement on the buying side. A lot of big buy volume came in. We haven't actually managed really to make any progress. So looking for some sellers to start to come in now. And we should get quite a quick tumble if we do. Dow's just returned to origin. Yeah, it's a bit pushed up. Now it's pushing back down again. The Nasdaq's the one that's really holding up at the moment. The DAX is coming down. Trying to come down fairly nicely. S&P is rejecting highs. Feels heavy, but also feels very indecisive. We've had quite a lot of movement this morning, so it's quite possible we'll have a kind of rotational day and we'll just be bouncing off of supply and demand zones, but there's a lot of it as well. Difficult to tell which direction they're going to want to go. There's targets in either direction at the minute, so certainly holding the lows at the moment. Yeah. Okay, second crack of these highs. Rejected again. God, DAX isn't painting a pretty picture today. Look at that. Nasdaq's filling that gap. Real struggle to get through there at the minute, though. Elon Musk selling a bit more Twitter, selling a bit more Tesla so he can pay for his Twitter. We're just making new highs on the DAX, making new highs on the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's new highs. DAX is stuck at the highs. Got a lot of buyers coming through. Trying to get through. Not making any progress on the S&P though. Quite a right struggle today, isn't it? Which way are we going? And DAX I'm about to stop out on. Stopped out. So I have my stop just above these highs here. Just looking for that runner, basically. Just trying to get these runners at the open, because if you don't get the runner, you miss it. Like that. Can't get in. I'm just trying to look at where I'm going to get out here. I'm going to get out above those highs, 4,200. You see if we get an absorption up at 4,200. Oh, good. Could I get it wrong? Any more wrong? No. Right, so I'm not going to make the same mistake as yesterday. I'm just going to buy this all day, and I'm not going to use a stop loss. I'm going to put 2k on the table, and I'm going to just buy it every dip, because that's what I didn't do yesterday, and that's what we missed. So today we're doing that. Got as much chance of that happening as I have of the other opposite happening, haven't I? So we're basically absorbing every single thing that we're heading through at the moment. We've not had any negative ticks. So as soon as we get some negatives, we get any kind of pullback, I'm just going to continuously buy it this afternoon. If I can get in. If it goes and it hits target without me, it's nothing I can do, is there? I'm coming to the point where I'm just going to stop trading futures, and I'm now remembering why I hate trading them. Because you're so restricted on your lot sizing and the amount you can trade. It's so difficult not to get a position size on it that you really want to have. I do not want to be entering with $12.50 a tick. Equally, I want to be able to scale into a position, and the contracts are far too small here, yet I'm limited to 20 contracts. So I can't actually get the size of position I want to scale into with the micros. So this is why I've stopped trading futures. It just drives me up. It drives me up the wall. At least you can enter with a decent lot size on a CFD. You can pick your stake. Right, so we're just starting to slow. So I'm going to buy in chunks if I can get in. I can't get. I'm just going to go. Screw it. Going long. You can't. There's no point in waiting for a pullback. If it's going to be the same as yesterday, you literally are not going to get a pullback. I'm going to watch this 1 minute chart. Literally every red candle, I'm buying the bottom of it. The only way to trade this thing at the minute. So entries on it today were there and there. And if you took the open there, nuts, isn't it? So I got a 2.5k limit basically. Actually, I don't think I've even got that because I haven't got that much in the account at the moment. This is the futures funded account, which has got max 2.5k drawdown. So that's the max I can go to without losing the account. I'm more inclined just to dump so much money into this, drive this up to about 10k and then stop and just take the money out. This is the way you need to play these accounts. It's got some sellers starting to roll in now. Okay, adding on a break of the high. So targeting the 42, sort of 42.28 level. Big volume in that. Whoops. $42.27, yeah, $42.28 basically. Adding 3 more. What are your thoughts on multiple accounts on Apex with their trade copier running? I don't think it makes a lot of difference. You're better off, I think, with these types of accounts, just going for one account with a large lot size, because you've got more drawdown. If you just spread your drawdown over multiple accounts, it's the same thing as having a big account, and you get a discount for having a larger account. They want you to have multiple accounts, because if you copy trade across multiple accounts, you're going to blow multiple accounts, which means you're going to reset multiple accounts, which means you're going to pay them more money. So if I take out a 100k account or 200k account, it's an $80 reset, or whatever the cost of the reset is. I think it's $80, 85, something like that. If you've got a trade copier across 3 accounts and they're all 50k, you've got to pay $210 to reset when you blow it. So it doesn't really make sense, I don't think, to have multiples. Unless you can hold an account for a month. But as we saw from the statistics yesterday, 4 out of 5,000 people will actually hold accounts long enough to get paid. So you're better off, I think, with one account. And like I say, the goal and the game with the funded account is to take that account from whatever to whatever, 10k profit, and then stop trading it. And then when you get to the 30 days, take that out. And then you'll get reset back to there. And then you go for another 10k or 5k or whatever you need to earn. But stop trading it when you get there. And get there as fast as you can. So go in with 5 contracts long, full size. Hope you catch that run. Take that money and run with it. Like yesterday. You need to catch a day like yesterday. Or a day like today. Yeah. And just make sure you milk it. Honestly, I think that's the best way to trade these., But the problem with futures is the contract sizing. You're so restricted to what you can do. If I enter 1 contract long on the ES and it goes like 10 points the opposite direction, there's $700 gone. I've only got 2.5k to play with. You've got literally 3 trades a day. If you get 3 entries wrong, that's it. You can't trade anymore. It's just too restrictive. We're going a bit quiet. I'm just looking at levels on the... So we're just running into these lows. So if we're going to continue on our little down mission, this is potentially a leg down. That is also a good target up here. So it's at 13.3. Well, that's on the NASDAQ, sorry. I'm trading the ES. So we're right inside it at the minute on the ES. Here come the sellers. So 42.75. This area up here is the next stumbling block. So if we can crack this, we're going to push up to 42.50. If we crack 42.50, we're going to 42.75. Three goes and your account is gone. Yeah, that's it. I mean, this is the issue. You know, you get an FX account, you can risk 0.5%, 0.25%. Do whatever you like with it. With the CFD futures, you're so restricted. They know that, but it's also very easy to make money. You know, I've had 4 or 5k days regularly on this account, and I've had, like you see yesterday, 2.5k days and things. It's not fun to trade the thing. You need to be able to do the micros are very difficult to get your head around because it takes so long to make money with. The normal size contracts are slightly too large for most accounts. I think probably you'd need a 200k account, but then your profit target is so far away and it makes you over leverage. Going long one more contract down there. I think I just entered 2, didn't I, there? Oh, God, yeah, I entered 2 contracts there, look. One there and one there by accident. That was double click on that button by accident, that was. Oh, that's going to hurt. Okay, so pulling back on the 5 minute, back into potential support here. It's a long way to drop on this if we're going to do a proper pullback on it. So we're stuck between 2 levels. Seeing a lot of selling coming in at the moment, but not a lot of negative movement. That massive selling rally where we lit up completely red, literally did that. Then we went quiet. So just waiting for the next tranche of buy orders potentially to come through. But I'm staying in line with this today. Yesterday was a huge bull rally. Bear rally rather, so hopefully today we're going to get the opposite. Okay, so we get rejection out of that area on the Nasdaq. Looks like we're getting it on the S&P as well. We can hear it. So we will probably have a batch of orders start to trickle in down here. if this gets breached. We've got this area as well, which we will probably start to build some orders up at the 4200. Again, that 4200 level. It keeps coming around, doesn't it? Going to take 6 off if we breach that low, just to reduce the drawdown on the way back down to this area. Let's see some green. Let's get a push back up. Just taking a long on the DAX. So we've got this propulsion gap, which we just traded back into. We are also coming off of a double top as well. So it's either going to be the double top hold and breach to the downside, or this is where we're going to find support to go long. So I'm just taking a long out of here. Stop is just basically about 13,780, just above the support rectangle, just around about there. Enter one more long, looking to get up to 42.28. Stopped out the DAX, stopped out of this as well. Can't do it today. Doesn't want to go long, doesn't want to go short. It's whips all day. Typical, I choose the whips all day. Never mind. I'm just going to run this account down, basically. It's too difficult to pull this out of the hole, basically. I can't. After trying to get back from a 2k loss, even going down to micros, it's just too difficult on these accounts with these trailing drawdowns, basically. Which is why I like my Forex funds, because my trading drawdown is capped. So going to buy for support. Did anybody see what my P&L got up to? So good area to be buying up the NASDAQ. Assuming we're not just going to whip. Oh, we've got 15. So we're basically sitting in these areas where we're potentially going to get bought up from. If we don't get bought up from here, we're going down. DAX has just completely undone the entire move from the open. Horrible market again today. Nah, I'm done. Going to buy up one more down here for final bounce. Way too many sellers. Okay, find a little bit of support there. So they've basically come back in at that level. See if we get that move. If we do get that move, we should get back up to the 42.28. If not, we'll probably just pull back into this area and then drop. So the market structure at the moment is still bullish. Just obviously didn't get the pull. Well, we did get the pullback. Potentially for a long, whereas yesterday all we got was that driving higher and higher and higher, but we didn't get that today. So 48.50. 150. I'm just trying to work out where my stop out level is on this account. Not far off. Jesus. Looks like a fake move to the highs to me. Just taking the short on DAX. Just adding into that position short. Just hedging myself off basically against this long, which doesn't look like it's going to work. So I'm just hedging it on the other account. So at least if this doesn't work, the other account will make some nice profit. And the other account's the one I'm really worried about. So. We've got no movement on the US dollar front. US dollar's just basically sitting there so far for the session, completely sideways. Nothing much happening. There's nothing much happening on anything really. Little bit of movement up and down on the euro, but nothing dramatic. Pound's not moving either. It's all gone a bit quiet. Oh, blimey, pound Swissies. So we've got some Swiss franc strength coming through by the looks of things. So Swiss franc's being moved. And we've got a fairly strong US. Swiss franc's going sideways with the US. So that's what we've got moving at the minute. Okay, that's going to get closed out in a second. Go on. There you go. That was my max DD. So, kiss goodbye to that 100k account. It's that easy. Right. Let's go back to proper trading. So, short on the DAX. Just adding one more short. So we've got nothing below us now. As soon as we've broken this level here, there's nothing below us. Really is a support level, a decent support level. I think I've got trailing stops turned on. 1 second. Yes. So looking for shorts on these. These are basically doing the inverse to what we got on the DAX this morning, by the looks of things. It's constant selling at the minute. Pretty much the same as we had yesterday. I'm not worried about it, Diamond. Running too many accounts. I haven't been using that account for absolutely ages, so I'm not that worried about losing it. It's costing me 80 quid a month. So it's not really a problem. Too restrictive. I do like futures. I love trading futures, but I hate them in the respect of when you get beaten up by a futures market, you get beaten up a lot harder by a futures market because every single tick is worth so much money, whereas you can control it a lot better on an FX, on a CFD account. The Forex funds account, growing that 500 to 700 a day using fairly small stakes isn't that hard. You can't do it on the futures. Micros are too small, which means you tend to get in with too many big contracts, i.e. number of contracts. Single contracts are too big on the normal futures markets, so you over leverage yourself, and they don't give you enough. 2.5k, well 3k on that account. 3k isn't enough if you want to make decent money on it. 100k account with a 3k drawdown. Basically, they give you a 100k account, but they say you can only actually have 3 grand of it. That's not leverage. That's no good. But that's what you need to do, and that is why those four people out of 5,500 make it, because they're doing exactly what I just did there. You got to basically get that lucky one, ride that lucky one, get that amount, and take that money out and put it in the bank. Closing one. Well, you can't see them. Closing one DAX out. I've got 3 DAX shorts running on my funded account. I'm just shutting one. Just watching this level here. Okay, here we go. We've tapped it and gone through. It's broken through on S&P. So we're looking to come down to these levels for the next support, 41.70. I'm just going to close one out. Closing those out there, 0.7. I'm just holding one on the other account. I'm just going to hold that one at break even. I've just closed out 2 on this, but just for that runner. If we get that runner the same as we had yesterday, I'm just going to hold that one 5 short. Still going. Oh, listen to it. Not happy, is it? I love it when it's like this. When you're on the right side of it, anyway. So what do we think? Are we going to break these lows? Are we going to break yesterday's lows? We're just approaching the session lows at the moment for Globex. So we're either going to get that bounce or we're going to pop this level. What do we reckon? Should I shut that position? Oh, it's $200, I'm taking it. Flat. I'm not going to take it any further. That's too much of a little bounce there for me. Look for a pullback for another entry short on that. I think we're going to start running out of sellers. Mind you, we said that yesterday and we didn't run out of sellers all day, did we? So target on the DAX is back down towards the low of the day. A few buyers starting to come in now, so I'm just looking for pullbacks and look to get in when we break back down short again. We've got Lagarde. Oh no, we haven't. Where are we? Yeah, we are Wednesday. We've got Lagarde at 5, which we need to be aware of, and then obviously Macklem later on. If you've got any CAD running, haven't got any CAD running, but Lagarde potentially could say something later to upset the apple cart, but we will see. Let's be aware of that one. Seen all this Putin news coming in after this announcement. West has driven Ukraine towards war. Russia will achieve all its goals. Hasn't achieved any yet. Interfere in Ukraine. Russia's response will be fast. Likely in retaliation if Russia is attacked. Respond to any attempts at isolating Russia. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So Russia basically, Putin spouting again. What time did that come in? 2:34. So that was at market open. So potentially good looking little long opportunity here. If we are going to go into rotation today, we've been in rotation all day so far. If we are going to stay in rotation today, this is where you're longing from. Okay, just trying another stealth stop on the DAX. Probably going to be a bit early. I'm looking for it to pull back up into these lows somewhere. Just change the color of this because this is way too bright. Let's get it down to that. No, we're using lavender already. Powder blue, there we go. That'll do nice. It's probably a bit dark to see it, light to see, isn't it? Let's just turn it down to turquoise. So that's where I'm expecting us to get a pullback into. If we're going to do a normal pullback, if we're going to have one of those days like yesterday, I'm looking for one bar pullback and a drop. So just looking to enter short. Stops there on that particular entry. If we pull back in, I was scaling under the lows, looking for a drop back down to the lows at some point. But we're getting lots of buying coming in at the moment, which seems to not be getting us anywhere, really. We had a lot of buying coming in consistently for the last 5 minutes. We are making a bit of headway, but not a lot. So there seems to be quite a lot of selling pressure still sitting on top. So have a quick flick through the FX pairs, see if there's any interesting levels while we're waiting for those to move. Nice triple bottom, Aussie CAD. So took that one, these Aussies, we were looking for long opportunities on these. Wow. I think I just got in short again. Yeah, not quite. Nearly. Not quite. He's teasing me, that. Right. Thinking about it towards the end there. So these Aussie dollars, we were looking for long opportunities based on RSI extensions this week. All started to go into an accumulation, but not really going anywhere. So nice triple bottom on that one there, but not really a level of interest. Aussie Swiss, somewhere out there. The trouble with these is there's such a long way to go back up to any kind of potential support resistance. It's very hard not to want to let these sort of grind up for the minute. Same with all these yens, not worried about the yens. So actually, let's look at the yens. So with these yens, we've just had a reverse alert on the hourly. We just retested it as well. We're retesting again at the minute. Tomorrow, we could well get another weakness build on the yens, which is obviously going to take us back up on everything against the yen. So these are all poised for nice entries with stops under the lows. So if you want to take any of these, anything basically long against the yen, I'm on the New Zealand dollar yen at the minute. These are good levels. Everything's very, very, very extended, has been extended for such a long time to the downside for the last sort of week. It's all looking like it's starting to want to go long. So we got bullish divergence formed. We've got 1 hour reversal alerts. We're just coming out of extension on the 4 hour. We're with an uptrend. We're hitting levels where we would expect to find support. The box is ticked for all of these to go long, but it's all going to hinge on what Kuroda says tomorrow morning. So if you want to get into these, if you can't get into them tomorrow, you'll have missed them. So if you do want to get any yens in, potential longs, they're all teed up, ready to go. Very, very simple entries. Be aware that they may come down and take liquidity before they run with it if Kuroda tries to weaken. Obviously, if he comes out bullish, then yeah, I mean, we're obviously going to come down and get stopped out anyway. Regardless, it's just going to collapse. But my feeling is at the moment, based on what they've said about not worrying about the US dollar yen going up to 135, it seems to me that they're teeing the market up to devalue the yen ever so slightly more. So looking that way for all the yens. So they're all teed up very nicely. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, had the long on that one from the extension, which played out very nicely. We pulled back and have pushed up to a new leg. This is where I'd be interested in shorts. Not quite there yet. So anywhere up or around that level. Kind of pick any level here. It's quite a big area potentially, but probably look at the most recent levels, which is kind of this area here, really. I would say it's probably the most likely where we've got this propulsion gap here. That's not really where we started to move down from, because we accumulated after that and then we moved down. So that really, anywhere in there, really, I'll be looking for shorts. Aussie, New Zealand. Aussie dollar US, it's the same thing. US dollar is absolutely killing it at the moment. The stronger the US dollar gets, the weaker the indices are going to become. This isn't stopping. I took the longs off of that this morning. Very glad I did, because we've just basically pushed back down again. So don't really want to get in front of the US dollar at present, and we've got no news coming up that is going to move this until tomorrow afternoon. So it's just a case of today is positioning ahead of tomorrow's move, and it looks like they're pushing down. And again, because they are so extended and they're trying to make new legs to the downside, they're just literally taking liquidity on everybody that's taking their longs and taking the opposite side of the US dollar. So I would expect GDP figures to come out worse than expected tomorrow and probably get a push on everything against the US dollar. So same thing as the yen. Would be expecting all of these moves that we've had recently to start undoing themselves tomorrow. Some profit taking moves in the opposite directions. So these are all set up very nicely as well. Wait for reversal alerts on them, but there's no real levels as such on these at the minute. There's a load of selling just coming. I'm just gone short again on the DAX. There's a lot. I say there's no real levels. There's lots of levels, and that's partly the problem. There are an awful lot of levels on this one specifically, on all the US dollars, to potentially act as bounce points. Any of those could be your next push on the US dollar. So very hard to pick an area, which is partly why I position trade normally, because you don't need to pick an area. Somewhere around here we are expecting a push, but at the moment obviously anything goes, so tricky one to get into. But I'd be looking on the lower time frames really at reversal alerts. One of these is going to catch and go, and that's one obviously you want to try and get on. So yeah, it looks good for longs, but obviously at the moment the US dollar is way too strong. We can't get any weakness on that whatsoever at present. So CAD Swiss, not really. It's gone into a range over the last 2 weeks. We're back up at the highs. Sorry, the last 2 weeks, the last 2 days. Back up at the highs again. CAD is very strong. Pound US, there you go. So these are all hitting 150, so loads more strength coming through on the US, pushing the pound and the euro down. These are obviously longs at the moment. CAD Swiss. Somebody asked me about the CAD Swiss this morning, and I said long. Hopefully you're on that. So yeah, that's pushing up again. CAD should remain strong all the time. We've got oil prices stable at the highs and oil potentially increasing in price. So would be looking for longs on that. This is where you wanted to be taking your longs, back down in this support area, and it's kind of not gone anywhere this week. So still longs on that. CAD Gen, same story as the rest. Long opportunities. You need to get into these today if you want to get into them. Pretty much ADR hit on that this morning. Didn't quite get it. But we're just coming back into an area where we should start to springboard, especially CAD Gen, obviously with the strength that we've got in the CAD at the moment. Market's selling off badly again. Don't know why I'm sounding so depressed. I've got shorts on everything. They're all working out. I'm depressed about losing my funded account that I didn't actually have any money in, that was costing me 80 quid a month. So it's not really depressing, is it, when you think about it? I haven't actually lost anything but an evaluation fee, which was $200, and 2 lots of 80 quid. Not the end of the world. So yeah, CAD Yen, good looking long. Swiss Yen, again, same thing. We've got a bit of Swiss strength coming through at the moment, so we're getting a little bit more of a push down on this one. The Swiss Yen doesn't look as nice because it's broken down below the initial sort of support resistance zone. So we are still in this accumulation though. This is where we've got a lot of equilibrium, a lot of balance, buyers and sellers. Quite happy to conduct business down here for quite some time, but this is kind of last chance saloon. If we do break this level, we've got nothing stopping us until we're returning back down to 125, 126. So big drop. If the yen powers up, this one's going to be ahead of the game, but I don't really think so at the moment, but we'll find out tomorrow morning. Euro short, took this one short, obviously, as you can see. I'm out. We've pushed down ever so slightly beyond my exit this morning. I exited at ADR, which was also double bottom and support. Just got some buying coming in. God, is that it? See all of that selling, and that's all we managed? Really? Wow. Not sure about that. Closing that out. That is all absorption. So the market, you heard that going, literally, that was going nuts. We got that out of it, and we've pulled back into a hammer. And now we've got a load of buyers coming in, so that's a good looking long. Well, good looking pullback starting. I don't really want to get on it long after this though. This market's in all sorts of trouble at the minute. So, but don't like the look of that. That was a lot of absorption there. We're selling like crazy and we haven't gone anywhere. So, rather be flat, I think, at the minute. Euro odd, looking for shorts. As I say, got loads of shorts on this one as we pushed up into this extension. So yeah, that was good. Euro odd. Still looking for shorts on it, but not at the moment. We're not in the right sort of spot really. This could well continue to go down, but not right yet. Euro CAD again, not in the right spot. We are double bottoming. So if you like a double bottom bounce, that is a lovely entry. 125 ADR for a long. Looking to get back up into this propulsion gap here, but I wouldn't want to go any higher than that. Much rather be interested in looking for shorts up there if we get up into that zone. So we're going to run into that as potential resistance. We've got all this accumulation. We love trading here. So if we get back to there and we're going to continue short on the euro, no reason why we shouldn't, unless Lagarde says anything to the contrary. We're looking for short opportunities on that. 3-bar reversal going in on the DAX. Give it another 3 minutes, but that's a lovely 3-bar reversal being painted there. Push down, rejection, push up. But I'd watch for that. So yeah, EuroCAD, nice double bottom bounce if you're inclined to take something counter trend. Back up to there. Just bear in mind the Canadian dollar is very strong at the minute. So Euro Swiss coming down into a nice area of support down here. So this whole accumulation zone, we've got this whole area here basically from kind of all the way down to these lows and these lows. So encompassing all of that. This is really where we tried to go lower, weren't interested, and we finally decided we're going to break high. We're just coming back and we're retesting all these buyers here that push price higher. So I'll be looking for potential long opportunities on this one. The Euro Swiss is obviously the only thing, apart from the Euro Yen, that I would be interested in directional trades in both ways, both directions, because the Euro and the Swiss are going to move together. So it's whichever of them is the weaker is the one that is going to lose, basically. So as we have a weak Swiss franc, we get a euro Swiss rise. As we have a strong Swiss franc, we get it coming back down again. So this one can kind of go either way, as you can see. So everything else in the euro, you're seeing it trending like this, apart from the yen, obviously. But euro Swiss is the one where we're just kind of seeing chop both directions, because they're both in tandem, both being affected in the same way by the conflict. So when we get down into this area, potentially we could bounce up to the upside, but obviously you've got to be aware of we're making lower highs at the moment and we're making lower lows. So potentially this area is going to break and we're going to get down to these lows here, but anywhere down at these lows as well, looking for highs. So we're either going to get that sort of movement or we're going to get that sort of movement. Nobody knows, but this is where I'd expect to start looking for longs if we get down to the ADRs today on this one. Euro pound, I'm obviously in short at the minute. This is just rejecting back at the moment. So I've got 2 positions short on this one. Euro yen, same thing with all the euros, potential long opportunities. So we're coming down into an area of accumulation. All of these, this is what we do every time. We have been doing every time. We're pulling back into accumulations and bouncing out of those accumulations. So lovely accumulation we're coming into now. They're all looking the same. Everything you look at on the yen, they look virtually identical. They're putting back into an accumulation after that final push. Apart from things like the New Zealand and the Aussie, those have weakened a little bit more. So I'm on the New Zealand dollar yen. It's spring back the furthest. We've got divergence starting to form. Oh, it's gone quiet. Look, everybody's gone to lunch. No, they're back. So yeah, looking for that New Zealand dollar yen. So I'm looking for this to be a liquidity run before the move up. So looking for my W to form in that respect. If they come and take out the lows before moving, I've got enough room there to give us that springboard to the upside. But we will see. It's all going to be down to Croda tomorrow morning on that one. So Euro New Zealand. So we got to Euro yen. So Euro New Zealand, double topped. Again, everything euro is a short. We've just had the reverse alert. We've just retested it and we've just broken down to new lows. Not very convincingly at the moment. It's a very, very slow trend, slow burner. But still looking for shorts on that one as well. Euro US, don't want to get in the way of this one at the minute. Looking for shorts on this one. 125, 150 ADR, definitely an area we want to be buying from on a normal day, but highly likely we're going to get that sort of movement, and then the flag just move to the downside. Pound odd. So we just moved up on the pound odd into this area of potential resistance, and we're bouncing. Again, we've double bottomed here as well on the pound odd, but we're kind of moving up in a flag at the moment. So I think this is probably the start of the next leg down. If you look at it on the hourly, though, it looks very much like a sort of double bottom forming here, but I'd be much more inclined to take that short. This is the area I was looking for the reversal in, which we got. It wasn't very clean, though, because of that massive strong push that we had, so the reversal alert didn't come in until quite late on that one on the hourly. But I'd be looking for shorts, and it's sitting lovely and rejecting that support rectangle at the moment, so that's probably not a bad little short there. Sell stop under the lows. Good rejection at the minute on that one. So we've got loads of wicks in the support rectangle. So this is the accumulation before the propulsion moved down. We've pushed back up into that accumulation. So we're looking for the next leg. Stop above the highs, basically. Target on this one, sky's the limit, really. It's the pound. It's like the euro at the minute, so be looking for targets down towards these lows. So nice risk reward potential on that one. Pound CAD, don't get in the way of the CAD. You're not going to get an entry on this. It's just not giving us an entry. Just slamming through everything. Pound Swiss is coming off of the lows, but obviously we've got a strong Swiss franc. Just started to power up. Look at the market going mental again. A lot of volatility. It's just as volatile as yesterday. Literally, you just need to get in, hold on. Glad I got out of that DAX. So we're just pushing up into potentially where we will start to see some rejection up here. We've got 97 down there, so I'm just going to put a sell stop underneath that IRB and one under where we are at the moment. Just try and build a position. Hey, let's go for it. 3 short. If we're going to get the next leg down on this, might as well gather up 3 positions on the way down to here. So yeah, lovely bottom bounce on this one, but we got a very strong Swissy that's just stepped in and rejection off of this area here. So don't really like the look of this one. It was looking like a lovely potential bounce, but I can't really bring myself to buy the pound, and the Swiss franc's got no strength usually because it's kind of pegged to the euro at the moment. It's moving very much as the euro is, which is weekly. Difficult one to call. If this level breaks, we've got really difficult drop ahead of us on the pound, because we're just dropping straight into this massive accumulation. So it's going to get pretty hairy and pretty choppy down there. So not a very good thing to trade at the moment. I don't think that one. Pound Swiss. Pound yen, same thing. We just had a reverse alert, same as all these others. We've had a push. If we're going to go tomorrow, it's going to be nice. And you just need to stop under the lows, basically. And there's potential for all these yens to ride back up and make new highs. So it's one of those big swings which if you can hold on to it, could be incredibly lucrative. So like I say, New Zealand dollar yen's the one that I'm on at the minute. We'll see what happens with that. Pound New Zealand, same as Euro New Zealand. I'm looking for shorts on this. We just got a reversal alert on the 4 hourly, and on the hourly it's pulled down, made new lows. I'll be looking for a pullback somewhere up into this area where these lows are and this high. Yeah, so pulling back up somewhere into there for a short opportunity. But pound New Zealand is not really moving very fast at the moment because we haven't got a lot of movement on the New Zealand dollar either. Buyers coming in at the minute. All of these just look hideous. Every single one of these today, these indices, are just looking awful. Look at it. It's just nasty. Short. They're all looking bullish and they're all looking bearish. Certainly looking to beat everyone up at the moment, aren't they? Pound New Zealand. So looking for shorts on that one, but I want a pullback if we can get a pullback, which might be quite tricky. Pound US dollar, don't not want to get in front of this at the minute. Love an opportunity to get in short, but can't short it down here. I didn't think I could short it down there. Look at these flags, 2-3 bar flags, and you're off. But as I said this morning, market tends to move in 3 legs. That's leg 1, that's leg 2. We're on leg 3. So wherever we stop is likely to be the bounce point for a good pullback. The US dollar needs to rest and pick up and accumulate orders so that it can move on to its next leg. Where this is going to stop is very difficult. We've got these support levels sitting down here, which are old dailies. That would be my guess. But as you can see with these, it's very difficult to draw in. Where are we? We're just below those levels. It's very difficult to draw in any kind of decent support because we are pulling into this accumulation. So that's what I've got, which is accumulation of, is a sort of amalgamation of these highs, these lows, this accumulation, and then we've got a few lows which have been respected multiple times, but somewhere around there is where I would expect. We're not too far away from it, but literally it could be anywhere down here. The market will have money sitting somewhere down there, and they'll be targeting a level down there, and it's just a case of waiting for price action. So you can kind of take the reversal alerts as they come in. One of them is going to hold. When it holds, you're going to get a decent move back to the upside on it, but hard to pick a level on that. As you can see, it is just falling out of bed completely. And get rid of these levels now. So yeah, difficult one. ADR reversals really on these. If you get an ADR today, in fact, I might stick a little limit down there. That's worth a shot. Buy limit somewhere around ADR today. Even if it has a breather, there's a chance of that pulling back. So sell stop under the lows. So we've taken this level back. We're pulling into support, resistance. This is our previous support area, this accumulation. So that low, that high is that accumulation. So this would kind of be this propulsion gap here. It's not really a propulsion gap because this was just a collapse. This area here basically. If we're going to get a new leg to the downside, this should really be it. It's going to be a 50% retracement. We'll see. So yeah, pound US dollar. I'm quite happy to put a little limit in there and see if we can get bounced down towards these lows. Not going to give it too much room when it gets down there, but you know, it's got to bounce at some point. Third leg. In fact, the best way to measure this one is on the hourly, and measure these moves. So actually, let's do it on the 4 hour. So first flag was there. Second flag was a lot shorter. So yeah, if we're going to do a measured move on the initial drop, that flag, exclude that flag. Shouldn't really, because it's really 3 legs. But yeah, that's where I would expect a bounce. All adds up. That is worth a shot. New Zealand dollar CAD, just coming down towards lows at the moment. Support. Canadian dollar strong, probably going to remain strong, so be looking for pullbacks. Again, can't get pullbacks on these things at the minute. It's just not pulling back. I don't really want to take longs on it, so looking for some kind of pullback into the 24.72 area for potential short opportunities. We're starting to find some selling pressure coming through on the indices. New Zealand dollar Swiss, similar sort of thing. I don't really have a bias on New Zealand dollar at the minute. From a technical perspective, it looks like a nice long. We've stop hunted, but it's just very uneven. It's just a mess. Very difficult to get a directional bias on it. Looks more long than short at the minute, but it's not really going anywhere, is it? So this week we're kind of sideways on this thing, so I don't really want to long it. I'd be much more inclined if we can get an RSI extension to the upside to short this thing. I think we probably got more weight for a leg down than a leg up. So continuation shorts, but no news, no Swiss franc strength really at the minute. We get the odd push for an hour or two, and that's all it's getting. So it all depends on what the New Zealand's doing, and there's no news on the New Zealand. Long on New Zealand dollar yen for tomorrow. New Zealand US, that's coming down into an area of interest. So this looks like another good opportunity. I've got the New Zealand yen long on, so I can't take this one. I've just taken a pound US pending order. So I'm going to leave that pound US pending order on, but again, getting down to a very interesting level against the US dollar. There's a lot of stuff approaching levels where we should see the US dollar start to have a rest and let everything else profit take. So this looks like a good one. New Zealand US just approaching these lows. We're pushing down pretty hard into these. It's not really going to be a stop hunt because that's too old, that level. It's weeks ago. But we should find potentially some buying pressure starting to form down here. There'll be a lot of retail and a lot of small commercial looking at this level. So potentially a good little level down there. Again, all going to depend on GDP tomorrow. I think, I've got a feeling those figures are going to come out worse than expected. And I think we're probably going to see the US dollar weaken tomorrow, which means everything should get a little bit of a push, but we'll see. I think the news tomorrow on that one is going to be quite impactful, and it's going to obviously be affected by what happens with the yen in the morning as well, and it'll be a bit of a power struggle between these two tomorrow. So we'll see on that one. But yeah, GDP 130. If this comes out anything negative, I think we're going to be good to go. And just US dollars, as I say, they're all extended, massively extended to the upside. Looking for shorts on all these, but can't really time a short on it. It's just going like crazy. Tomorrow, I think that's when we're going to be looking for those. So yeah, that's all I've got on the FX pairs. Very similar to what we had this morning, obviously. Did I have a sell? Oh no, sorry, I didn't have a sell stop under there. Euro CAD 125. Euro's dropping again. Oof, pound US dollar. Euro US dollar and pound US dollar on the 5 minute look spectacular. 150 ADR. Just sit on Euro US dollar. Those things are really coming down at the minute. Lovely drops. Everything against the US dollar. It's just the US dollar's on an absolute mission at the moment. Not even. It's the first time we've hit the 20. It's just, impossible to get on these things. You've literally got to be in. You've got to kind of pick at the moment. The way to trade is to pick an accumulation and just play these accumulation breakouts, and just go and make a cup of tea. Or go and do something else. Take the dog for a walk for a couple of hours and come back and then take your profit off. If you watch them, you'll get out of them. If you don't watch them, you just follow them. It's very, very hard to do. But everything is going on a mission at the minute. And when it goes on a mission, it doesn't seem to stop. As we saw yesterday with the indices. So that's it on the FX side of things. So I've got a few orders on at the moment. I've got my Euro Pound, which is doing all right. My New Zealand dollar yen. Pound odd. I've just got into it already. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm in pound odd. That'll do. So yeah, pound odd. I've got Euro Pound and I've got the Euro CAD as well. So Euro CAD looking basically for. Let's move those out of the way a minute. Sell limit up there. Again, I don't think we're going to make it, are we? It's going to be hard work getting all the way back up there. But we'll see. We've had oil this afternoon as well. I need to change my calendar because oil seems to have been filtered out into yellow. Yeah, why have they changed that to yellow? That's really annoying. Slightly negative on the oil. Not far out though. They were expecting it down to pretty much flat, and it's 0.7 as opposed to an 8. So it's dropped 7 million barrels. It's not massive. I was just going to see what impact that's having on the Canadian dollar. Strengthened up the CAD. Even negative news on oil is strengthening up the CAD at the minute. The CAD's really going for it. So don't want to take it short just yet though. So anything against the CAD, it's already gone too far. Right. So this afternoon I'm going to be playing short on. I'm on the DAX basically. It doesn't matter which index you get into. They're all doing the same stuff today. US dollar Swiss 125 ADR. Really glad I got out of that one this morning. US dollar yen. Wow. New highs. All the time we're getting this US dollar pushing, it's going to put pressure on the index as well. So NASDAQ, S&P, we've broken lows. We've also broken highs. So it's just a complete whipsaw at the moment. But the last break was to the downside, so I've been looking more for a short because the market structure is actually bearish on all of these at the moment. So I'm short, looking basically for just break of these lows, and on the on the DAX specifically, I'm looking for a retest of the low of the Frankfurt session, and obviously just scaling into a few positions on the way down. So that's the plan. Haven't got into any yet though, because we haven't gone down enough. All the time it's pushing up. I'm just going to trail underneath the lows, and we'll wait for that low to get broken, which should be a short-term market structure shift to the downside, and then look to get in short. But if it keeps pushing up, that's fine. I will just trail up underneath it, unless we get back up to these highs and break these highs. I mean, that's just untradeable if it did that. It's just, what do you do? Just a whipsaw, isn't it, today? Another 3-bar reversal going into the long side there, look. Still got 4 minutes left on this candle, but there's buyers. Look at them. What is this market up to today? I was expecting some volatility last week. Remember I said last week, it's the last week of the month. We tend to get a lot of manipulation and prices moving as funds will reposition themselves to get profit in the bank for the quarterly report. For the monthly reporting, commissions, etc. So you get a lot of stock movement. We've probably got some options expiries potentially as well, but this is crazy, crazy volatile. Still have to think, don't you, when you get this sort of volatility, is this Elon Musk sitting behind here with billions just pressing buttons? Be lovely if you were Elon Musk. Can you imagine sticking a $5 billion account into the stock market, and every time you hit the short button with 1,000 contracts, you know it's going down, and you can definitely make money. You can't fail to make money when you can move the market with the press of a button, which is the beauty of Boocamp. You can see him sitting there pressing his buttons in theory, but yeah, today was just a complete whipsaw. So yeah, I shan't be trading any more futures at the moment. I will still use Boocamp, I think. What's everybody think of Boocamp? I still like Boocamp from a levels perspective. It just gives you that extra, I think, insight into levels where everything is sitting. So if we're looking at the S&P and we're thinking, I'm interested in shorting it out of this propulsion gap, we can look at Boocamp and see if there is liquidity there to back us up. It gives you that. Perform update. No thanks. Gives you that insight, doesn't it? We know there are a lot of orders sitting up at that level, just above where we are right now. So we know there's a load of orders sitting somewhere up here. So if we're looking to short it out of this zone, shorting on the way up and adding when you get confirmation of price action like this. So we've got a strong close followed by a long wick, short. So I still think it's got a use. I was looking to use it for futures basically, to see if there's another edge there, but I think there probably is, but I'm fed up with futures. I don't know. Can't be bothered with that account anymore. Too many accounts to run. That's just the trouble. Unfortunately, these don't tie up with CFD levels, but you can see roughly where we're looking. And if you equate that back to a chart, you can see where they're going to be. So I think it's still got a use. So I'm still going to carry on using this for a few more weeks to try and help identify potential reversal points. I think that's the main use. Okay, so that's all I've got for you this afternoon. Just going to keep shorting the index. Pick an index, doesn't matter which one. They're all virtually the same today. Really are the same today. So just look basically, I think, for continuation shorts today on these. Unless we're going to go into rotation, in which case you might find we're just going to sit there like this. And if that is the case, I think tomorrow we'll be looking for some more levels down. But I do like the levels. Now I've seen it, I can see how it relates to what we see in MT4. Yeah, it's very, very useful. It is very useful. I just wish you could transpose a normal CFD chart over the top of this for price action. But it's good for spotting where we're likely to get bounces from. I think probably that sort of view is more useful, which is the longer term rather than the short term zones. We know there's a lot of people down at 41.50 and 41.25, 42.25 and 42.50. So if you see the market going long in the morning, this is invaluable, I think, for TPs. We know that when we get up to here, there's a lot of liquidity. There's liquidity down there. So where we are right now, regardless of whether you go long or you go short from here, this is where you're probably going to end up. So I think that's the main use for it, from my perspective. But it's probably worth a look at, isn't it, at the beginning of the session, and then mark the charts up with those levels. So have a look at around about the 42.30 on the S&P and see what we got. Hourly highs. Somewhere around there, we're at hourly highs, which is the support top of the support rectangle. This accumulation. So if we get up to there and we see rejection, wick, 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 short it. You know you can put a stop above there quite safely, and you know where you're going on the downside then, don't you? I think that's the use. But I like testing these new tools out when I see them, to see if they've got an edge. But we will see. Okay, I will leave it there. Still haven't got into a DAX short. It's not letting me in. We're half an hour now. 20 minutes sideways. We're wicking like crazy. Whoops. So this looks like the level we're going to use. So nice long wick, strong close out of that level. So that's where we moved out of initially. We've had a strong close rejection out of there. We've had a long wick rejection out of there. Obviously, if we break that, then fine, I'll still trail up. By then, we're going to get up to the 2050. We'll be in long territory, which is quite possibly just going to go like that. So I'm interested really short or not at all today for the rest of the afternoon. I now envision lots of pending orders over areas of consolidation. Exactly, yeah. Exactly what you want to take away from that. That is exactly what you're seeing. Can't see it if I zoom out to previous. Can't I go back any further than that? No. So yeah. So if you look at a candlestick chart, there'll be an accumulation propulsion move there, and we will have a propulsion gap on our chart. So these, you can kind of, I mean, you don't actually need this. It's good to see it in real life because this is the market. There is no doubt there are 463,000 contracts sitting at that, or whatever the multiplier is, sitting at that level. We can see the propulsion gaps. The sellers starting to come in now. We can see the propulsion gaps formed. So we can see that one there, for example. Yeah, we can see there's a little accumulation before that gap. So what we will see in Boocamp is above our propulsion gaps, we will see that. Yeah. So we know that above that level is a load of liquidity. So when we come down and test that level, here's a prime example. 175 monthly range Aussie US. We're at the end of the month, doesn't matter. So this one's a good example. Accumulation, propulsion gap. Boocamp will have drawn a whacking great thing across there, like that. Yeah. As we approach it into our propulsion gap, the market gets scared and pumps away. As we get down to here, you'll see a big red bubble form on Boocamp, and we break it and make a new propulsion gap. So that previous liquidity moves over to here. So when we come back up and retest that area, and this is why the propulsion gaps work so well. So you're just seeing where those limit orders are left in the market. So look, they're coming back. It repeats itself. We bounced off of it. We've come back. They're there again. Look. They put the orders back. They're retesting this area. The buyers don't want it lower than this area. They're long. But they're not, you know, it can't hold all the time, can it? If it held all the time, or you'd been in range for the rest of your life. They're going to break. And this is where this helps you. When you hit that level and this thing lights up red, and it continuously lights up red, and you do not get through that level, you know you need to buy it. If it slams through that while that's lit up red, you know you need to sell it next time you get up there. But it's exactly the same as what we see on here, isn't it? Just envisaged in a slightly different way. But yeah, helpful. Very, very helpful tool. As I say, I'm paying $100 a month for that, so I'll keep hold of it for a month. I will still use it and still study it, which is what I kind of do when I go off in the morning. I have that sitting up there and I'm watching the Globex session and just watching how price is moving and bouncing between those levels. Except when you're in the market open, these levels are nowhere near as secure. they hold a lot better in Globex. In fact, I think this is probably a better tool for Globex. They tend to hold really, really well, the levels. Load of buyers coming in. I think I've probably just got gathered up into an order. Yes, I'm short one, DAX. So short first position DAX. We haven't gone anywhere, but nice wide stops on these as well, because I'm scaling into multiple positions. I got wide stops on them because I don't want to get whipsawed. So. Okay, so I'm going to let those run short. Initial target down at those, sorry, not those lows. That's the opening range low 2 of the New York session. Target would be lower day somewhere. So I'll be out of them way before we get to lower of day, I would imagine. If I get a couple of percent there, I shall be shutting it out because I'm up already today. So. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:50. We will trade Frankfurt. Hopefully we have a decent Frankfurt like we did this morning. Very nice profitable session this morning. And for the rest of the day, obviously, see how the market goes. Be aware of, obviously, the yen tomorrow morning. It'll all be happening overnight. Nothing we can do. But I'll be in the New Zealand dollar yen long. And we will see what happens tomorrow afternoon with the US dollar GDP. But I think a lot's going to hinge on what happens with the yen. So we might have a load of ADRs hit on the yen, but I wouldn't want to get in the way of those ADRs. So if you see any ADRs in Asia when you wake up, probably not good to take if they're on the yens, because I think we'll probably get a continuation of whatever happens in Asia tomorrow. So there might be some opportunities to enter some yens tomorrow in the morning, but we'll have a look at those when the market opens. We'll go through all the yen pairs. All right, guys, have a good one. I will see you. Whoa, here we go. Buyers are coming in again. I will see you tomorrow morning, 7:50. Hopefully, you have a profitable afternoon. If you need me, I'll be in the Telegram group. But see you tomorrow.